CUTV. We're here with Sam Shalabi, a foundational musician in Montreal and in Canada and in our world.
I grew up hearing a lot of Arabic music, and you know, as a child, mostly trying to ignore Arabic music, because my dad was a huge fan of it, and so he played it all the time when we were growing up. Had a massive collection. For my birthday, he gave me a sort of somewhat crappy oud, and I was already playing guitar, but I was very intrigued by the instrument, just because it was so different, and it was a kind of also a little portal into that music. There wasn't, I mean, for I guess the main reason is that you can't really play a lot of that music on guitar or piano, for instance, because you can't play Arabic scales or quarter tone scales on those instruments, and so that really kind of got me going, intrigued by the music again. The first music that I really moved me or I got into was punk rock, actually, and that really kind of kept me going, and then post-punk and and then jazz, and then free jazz and free improv and modern classical, blah blah blah. It was really only as an adult that I started to appreciate that music. That's when Shalabi Effect started, and when I started sort of trying to use Arabic music, because at that point it was connecting to other things that I was into. It made sense in terms of free improv. Sort of to make sense in terms of a lot of the more sort of minimal, kind of drone or sort of monophonic music. Now I'm really trying to write what I think of as modern Arabic music, and whatever that is, and sort of being exposed to more of it, and not kind of writing about it. And I think the one thing that was liberating going to Egypt again in 2006 was that the sort of the notions that I had of what was happening, in Arabic and Egyptian music really were changed by kind of going there. The big bands I was attracted to, like the Kulthum and Abdul Halim Haifaz and Abdul Wahab, they and Adawiya as well. They had these bands that were experimenting. Through that experimentation, it ended up being modern Egyptian classical music. That's what that music is considered now. So when people talk about the classical music, they're talking about that era, which is not that long ago, but it's using a lot of different sources, Western sources, and but it's not fusion. The music itself, in terms of the Arabic part of it, is sort of evolving from within, and so during that evolution, it's grabbing whatever it needs in a way, to evolve. And so it's the things like electric guitar, electric instruments, different rhythms. That period is so appealing just because of that ferment, and the openness to other kinds of music. But then I think going to Egypt, I see that's happening now too. That's why I don't feel so strange about saying what I do is modern Arabic music. I'm using whatever I need, I guess, to express what I have to, and I'm interested in Arabic music, traditional music, but I don't really have to use it in any preconceived way, because other people are not, and they're creating their own version of it. That's become more and more interesting for me to see how to do that without necessarily pretending that I'm doing traditional Arabic music or even Western music, really, that it's something else I'm doing, and so the activity there now is really fascinating.
Right
Just
now in Cairo.
Yeah, just because I think there's a lot of there's a
Because
lot.
you do live there now in Cairo.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot going on there, you know, and I think in the coming years it will really burst open.
And it obviously is coming from a state of emergency.